We'll start. Recording in progress. All right. So thank you guys. I'll just get it started and then I'm going to hand it over to you, Megan. Okay. And then we can do.
Do I need those slides you sent?
No. Okay. So thank you so much for being here. This is for our TDC Sustainable Green Team. This is our first meeting where we're getting to know each other, sharing our needs and wants, what our vision for this group can be. And so this is our first meeting. And for anyone who is, Happy New Year. Today's Yom Kippur.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, so I turn it over to you, Megan.
Well, hello. Oh, sorry. I didn't know it would mostly be talking to Tiki. Liz, would it be all right if Liz introduced herself just so I could get a feel, since we've an intimate group today.
Yes, very intimate group.
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Liz Craig.
Yeah.
I'm kind of just trying to get my business off the ground. I've been working with a friend on her projects in New York. She lives in California. And my business is focused on eco-friendly and vegan design.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm in New York City.
Cool. Thanks for sharing. It looks like we have one more person popping in. Vegan.
Deanna, you're on mute, hon.
She might still be.
I've got
Good
you.
morning.
I've got myself on mute because I'm sitting in the stylist chair with my color on my hair.
Oh, no worries.
Gosh. We're just kind of starting.
Although we do want to see, we won't pressure you.
The after instead of the before.
Definitely the after would look better than what you're going to see right now.
Yes, that's okay. We get it. Deanna,
I'm gonna keep myself on mute unless you need me to talk.
well, I just wanted to learn a little bit about you, like a quick,
okay.
like what you do, where you live, why you're here.
Sure. So I own Tranquil Interiors. I opened that 8 years ago. I've been in the industry since '98. I live in southern Indiana, just across the river from Louisville, Kentucky. I like to approach sustainable design, not just from the eco-friendly aspects of the finishes and products that we use, but I also consider sustainable design one to be that isn't always, say, on trend, but is specific to the client's needs so that we have a long-term solution. We have long-term usage of product instead of something that's just inexpensive and disposable. So that's another aspect of sustainability that I try to instill into my clients is buy that sofa once and then we can recover it in 10 to 12 years if you're needing freshness, or keep it neutral and let's just change out pillows and things like that.
Wonderful.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you for sharing, Deanna.
Yeah, that's awesome to learn about. All right. Well, what would you prefer? How would you prefer I kind of start? Do you want me to just do like the overview? Tracy?
Oh, your turn, Megan.
My name's
you,
Megan. My name's Megan. I guess as for everybody else, I'm Megan Thompson. I live in Denver. I serve clients from the Denver metro area to the mountain communities, all the way to, Summit County, Vail Valley. So we've got some of our second homeowners up there and permanent residents in the mountains, which is a joy. I went to school for interior design and got my emphasis in green design from Rocky Mountain College of Art and Design. And I think I've always snuck it in there, even though clients weren't seeking me for it. And then a year or two ago, I decided I'm just tired of helping people who don't care as much as I do. And we rebranded, kind of refreshed the business, and we're marketing that we do sustainable design, whether you're asking for it or not. And we still are getting those clients, I think, that they're not here for that, but they're going to get it regardless. And then what I'm really loving now is that we are starting to get those clients who are like, we're here for this. This is why we're reaching out to you. So yeah, if you're worried about like niching yourself, please don't be worried. I think there are so many people that come from affluent backgrounds who are here to do good in their homes. And yeah, so that's a little bit about me.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Megan.
Yeah.
So I've been in this business since the 90s, too long. I'm Tracy Taylor, one of the admins for the Designers Collaborative, and I have pivoted my business to doing only consults. I specialize in feng shui. I'm a feng shui master, and it's much broader than that. But those principles are inherent in what I do. And I got my interior design degree way back in the day when Berkeley College in Waldwick, New Jersey was still IDCEC accredited. And one of my favorite projects that I ever did was in my materials and sources class. I dedicated months to doing the deep dive. This was back in the 90s on how life and all that we specify and get rid of, it's like the circle of life, to put it, I know that's a cliche, but anyway. So how everything starts and then goes, and how it ends, and how long it takes to decompose. So that's my focus, because I know for me, whenever I'm specifying or recommending, I look at what they already have, and by taking what they already have and either incorporating into the new design or getting rid of it, I have to take a pause, because this is the important part to me, is that yes, we're creating beautiful spaces, but there's much more to it than that. And so when we get rid of things, like it just blows my mind that we just throw things away. So that's my focus.
Love it. I didn't know you did feng shui. Thanks for
Mhm.
sharing. That's so neat. Yeah.
So I do have a presentation, and I think what might be good for us right now is to share, all of us, share what we're going to take this ball of wax and mold it so that it's usable for each of us. That's very important. So if we can start with maybe the big picture of what it is, maybe somewhere that you've looked for these kinds of sources, green sustainable sources, maybe how it fell short, and so you had to move away from that and go on to something else. But long-term vision, what kind of information do you want out of this? You came and are here participating in our sustainable green team. So when you made that decision, what was it? What was that in your head that said, oh yeah, this is for me? Go ahead,
I'll go
Liz. Or
first.
Megan.
I
Okay.
don't know who wants to go first. For me, I think number one, I'd love to know, we have such an amazing group of designers in the Designers Collaborative. You guys have done such a great job putting that together and just like cultivating a collaborative group of people who care about each other. And I just, first, I think I just wanted to know like who else is out there with the same desire, often, maybe many of us work alone, so it's already lonely. And then when you feel like you're the one that's like, well, I don't want to order if it's going to come wrapped in plastic, but no one else might be asking that question. I kind of just wanted to know how many other people in the group were also wanting to go for this. That's where I'm at.
Deanna, Liz.
So for me, I took the Green Leaders certification from the Sustainable Furnishings Council.
Nice.
it was great. I'm glad I did it. I learned a lot. But in terms of sourcing product, they have a list of members, but it's a pay to play kind of a situation.
Meaning, what do you mean by that?
Like, they pay their membership dues and they're kind of admitted. I don't necessarily know that all of them are
I agree. I get what you're saying.
100% sustainable,
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So there's no vetting process to say for in the Sustainable Furnishings Council, you can pay your dues and you're admitted. There's no vetting or criteria. Is that what you're saying?
I know there isn't on the part of designers, right? You just join, but I think for companies there might be some sort of vetting, but I don't know how robust it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. As I said, I'm just getting my business off the ground. I haven't done a lot of sourcing on my own.
Yeah.
So I'm
So
still.
if I may ask, when you were doing the Green Leaders program, what did you like? What didn't you like about that program for you and where you envision yourself going down the road?
Well, it was great in terms of learning, what sustainability means and what the mindset of the customer is, sort of a snapshot thing, though. I think that's changing. It was a session on toxins. There was a section on making sure that the materials are sustainably sourced. There was one on designing sustainably, and also on how to sell sustainable design. So there were 6 modules like that, yeah. And then they have a weekly Zoom call, and it rotates between different sort of themes, or circularity. I'm not going to remember what they all are off the top of my head. And I'm glad to be a part of that organization. I think it's a nice credential to stick at the bottom of my website too. And I like knowing the things and sharing that information, but it's not helpful really for sourcing.
Okay, so sourcing was the key shortcoming.
Yeah.
Well, and if I may chime in, Liz, I went first to the Sustainable Furnishings Council thinking like, oh, I can just buy from these people, but it seems like everybody's on that list. And I became also very frustrated with like, you have to click on that and then go read and figure out why they're on that list. And it was tiered from what I recall. It was been a year probably since I looked at it.
Yeah.
It seemed like you could either just be like recycling cardboard, or you could be like all in zero waste.
Sure.
Wow.
And it was difficult to really determine what.
Well, the other thing too is that I mean, some companies might have some products that are green, but not necessarily all of them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I don't know how we sort of narrow it down that way, because it really,
Right.
and the products are constantly changing, right? So it's kind of a moving target.
Right. Like
It
if
really
you
is.
really love this armoire, how do you know that that's part of the line that's sustainable? Or that's a good.
And then next year it's gone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, craziness. So Deanna, while she's getting her hair done, so she says, show me the chat, bear with me. Okay, so Deanna says she wants to, thank you so much for sharing that, by the way, Liz. I wanted to recognize you. Deanna says, I want to align myself with other like-minded clients so that I can grow and learn. Deanna runs Tranquil Interiors, and it was branded in 2006 based on the need for healthy interior environments, first from an emotional state, but as she grows her brands to include environmental and financially. I got it. Okay. The most expensive thing you can put in your home is one that affects your health, or worse off, fails and has to be replaced. I hear you. So
Wow.
thank you for sharing that. And my 2 pennies are very similar to what you guys have mentioned, but again, it's on the replacement and sourcing to find a sustainable vendor and know what that product is and how it's sustainable so that I can make an educated decision, just
Mhm.
like I'm sure you each have experienced as well. So my vision for this project for our TDC group overall is almost similar to, oh, and that was another thing I wanted to show you. But it's almost similar to our vendor list so that, and I don't know if we can take the information, whatever we're going to create, and incorporate it into our vendor list, because our vendor list is right now about 60 pages. And that serves one function.
Mm.
So although I would like to incorporate aspects of sustainable green design into our vendor list, we haven't quite figured out if we can do it, and then if we can, how we can do it. So I'm thinking maybe just at the beginning, we create, and I have some things that I can share with you in a moment here, but like lists of sustainable vendors and what everything means. So if you're saying that this vendor is sustainable, maybe we have, like, how is it sustainable? Is their manufacturing plant? There's zero waste. You know, that's a really good thing for the people who work there and, you know, for the environment there. And then what about their products? You know, how does that work? And I know that this is a very large undertaking, but because each of us possesses this passion, it can be done. I wholeheartedly believe that it can be done, and we can create something that is accessible to all of our members and informative. It's not willy-nilly. It's not greenwashed, so to speak. So now that's TDC. And what I want to do here, because we're recording this, we're going to share it with our green team.
Mhm.
I want you to explain, Megan, if you will, the direction that you're going, because again, this is a collaborative
Mhm.
effort that we're doing. We're all working together from our passion.
To save the planet. No.
That's right.
Bigger than
That's
us.
right.
Thank you, Tracy. Yeah, and I would love to chat. I think, you know, this can be an evolution, like on the list that you guys already have, you know, and I totally understand the fear of like doing anything preemptively, because that greenwashing vibe does not feel cool, right? So
Right.
I often wonder, like, what if for the time being, and this would be something you guys could decide, like maybe could you just add a column? And if it's green, you put a little green star. And maybe there's like, we don't know yet how to share how green they are, but maybe just initially just saying like they meet something, and we're working on it. You know, I think,
And then we
yeah. And then
identify
like
what
phase
that is
2, you could extract,
that
I
we
mean,
can do.
even just a simple, because if I'm scanning that list and I see a little green star or a highlight or a marker of some point, I would probably be more inclined to click on. For example, I recently inquired with Callaloo about packaging and learned that all of their packaging is compostable. They're using like eco-plastic compostable. If it's plastic, their peanuts are all biodegradable. And I'm like, why aren't you leading with this? Like, this information is nowhere on your website. And now when I start looking for decor, they're the first one I go to. If I can't find it there, I'll go somewhere
Awesome.
else. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think it's just like, we don't have the access and the knowledge, and the amount of time it takes to talk with your reps is like insane. And I have 20 questions that I'm asking, and they're like, oh God. I've had people tell me no one has ever asked me this many questions before. And I'm like,
Right.
well, that's a shame, because
We could maybe do like a different symbol for different aspects of sustainability. So you could have a column and
yeah,
then you have like, you know, something for emissions, something for, you know, sustainably sourced wood, something else for
yeah, like social equity,
yeah, exactly.
zero carbon, you know, if they're solar powered or wind
Yeah.
powered or whatnot. Yeah. Energy efficiency. That's a good idea.
Energy efficiency. I guess transportation is what it is. It depends more on where you're located, but yeah, hazardous chemicals, you know, I don't know.
Or if they have 30
All of these.
certifications, I think
Right.
that's one of the things. Maybe that's a good segue from the list I've been
The
working
only-
on for.
The thing that gets me about certifications is just like with that Sustainable Furnishings Council, they have all these vendors on there, because I was thinking, oh, maybe they have everything that we need and we don't need to go through this. What a mistake. So that bothers me, you know, if they allow any vendor and there is no vetting process, it's bothersome to me.
Or it's just not easy to discover what it is. You know, you can have a client who really cares about off-gassing and does not care so much. Maybe their child has asthma or they've got health conditions and they really, indoor air quality is like the most important thing to them, but they really don't care what happens to it when they're, you know, end of life or raw material extract. Like, so if you're searching for a niche, it would be nice to be able to say like, okay, this is really important to my client. And I found the same thing in my work too, like even like cradle to cradle. That's awesome. If your product has cradle to cradle, good for you, but that really just focuses on like the life cycle of the product and what happens to it when you're done with it.
Like interface flooring.
For sure, yeah. And then there's like GOTS, right, for textiles, and that's just focusing on like organically grown textiles, and so there are so many different rating systems that it's hard to tell. There's nothing that's comprehensive, so some of them may overlap, some of them might have nothing to do with one another, but it becomes very challenging to just make a quick decision like, this is a vendor I want to use for this project. And so
But I
that's
think regardless of what we're able to compile, there has to be a caveat that people still have to ask the questions about the specific products, right?
Yeah. And I also do think, you know, those of us here probably know the questions to ask, but I have found many other designers who are interested in like doing this sort of like, they're not going to commit their whole practice to it, but maybe they want to start trying. They don't know the questions to ask.
So
You
we
know,
should
and we
make
need
the
to
best of
arm
it.
them with that info. This is what, and here's the other thing. We are the customer to these manufacturers.
Yes.
We start asking our
Yes.
reps these questions and annoy the crap out of them, that feedback's going to work its way up the chain. And, you know, many of these companies already have put out sustainability statements and they're trying and they're working on it and they know it's important. But I think we have the biggest opportunity to pressure them to do better. You know, you look at a company like Fireclay Tile, who literally they weigh their waste at the end of the week, every week, and they put it back into next week's production.
Nice.
Why can't Burton James do that? Why can't, you know, like if they can do it, anybody can do it. So I think it's just, they don't know how either. And they're not getting pressured enough by their customers. We're their customers. The designers are their customers.
Thank you so much for sharing that, because that, I think oftentimes we don't realize, and we don't realize collaboratively how much power we actually have
Right.
for answering these questions and putting it out there, whatever the terminology is,
Mhm.
you know, being cradle to cradle or whatever the
Yeah.
terminology. So those questions to ask are for us as practitioners
Mhm.
to ask our clients, correct?
No, our reps, I think. I
Vendors.
mean,
Our reps.
the
Okay,
manufacturers, the makers, whoever we're ordering from. I mean, if you read the definition of interior design, I'm like IIDA. I mean, like the first in that first few paragraphs, our job is to ensure the safety and well-being of the clients in our environments, right? So I truly believe at the core of my being that, like, if you're putting like vinyl that's off-gassing, you're not upholding to the bare minimum of keeping your clients safe. And the problem is this has always been this way, right? So nobody knows any better. They're just go, this fabric's pretty, let's do it. And there's no consequence, and 20 years later, your client gets cancer. Is that related to anything that you've put in your house? Like,
oh, mama me.
you know what I mean? Like, think about it that way. You are affecting the future of your client's health at bare minimum. And if you don't have the like audacity, I mean, you need to ask these questions to your vendors, like, hey, are you using vegetable-based dyes? Does your product meet any indoor air quality standards? Those are just simple questions you can ask, but it can go all the way to, like, I got a list of questions you can ask.
Yeah.
You want to be the annoying one. I remember I need to just get my own line of window treatments. I'm not super proud of it, but I got like Norman Window Fashions because I just needed something that I could sell, make more money on, and like do myself. Definitely not the most sustainable, but they're known for their wood blinds. And so I reached out and I said, well, I want to know, because they're made in China. Not very happy about it. And I asked all these questions and he said, wow, no one's ever asked these questions. It took him a week to get back to me. And despite the fact they're made in China, the facility is in the forest where they harvest the trees and they regrow their own trees. So I was like, well, okay, they're doing something. Now, do I want to order it from China? Probably not. I'll order the shades that are made here in Texas instead. But I know now what part of their line is manufactured where and where they get their goods or the raw materials. So if somebody does,
Oh my
you know
goodness.
what I mean? Like the wood is grown in China and the factory's right next door. So they're not carting it too far away.
Is it bamboo or is it?
No, I don't know what it is.
No,
I probably wouldn't order it, to be honest.
No.
But it was interesting to learn that. And the only way I learned that was by asking.
Mhm.
They want to make sales. And if you need to ask the questions. You're the designer, ask the questions. Yes, it starts with asking the clients. I think that's a whole different topic. Like, how much do my clients care? But then how can I be sure that I'm doing what I need to do for my clients? Like, you're making a lot of decisions for your clients and they're trusting you.
Yeah. Yep.
So please don't take that lightly. It also has to look amazing, but you can do it and make sure that it's safe.
Absolutely. Do you want to share any information about your future plans, Megan?
I can share a little bit because I think I just figured it out.
Okay.
Last week. Work in progress. I plan to, I don't know how to phrase it I don't want to disappoint if I produce something different. So I don't want to be putting too many specifics on it. I've been working on an internal green list for quite some time, and Tracy and I have shared and collaborated prior to this Zoom on that. And there's a lot of criteria that I use to evaluate how sustainable something is, and it essentially can populate a percentage.
Wow.
And I have a lot of criteria that I ask, and depending on how those questions are answered, it can say, Fire Clay Tile is my most sustainable vendor on that list. I think they're about 90%, and only because they ship things, so that's pretty high. But anyway, that kind of got me thinking, what else can I do? And I think I'm going to be working on In the short term, I'm going to be working on collecting a list of designers who are interested in just learning how to do this. Maybe it's not part of your practice at all, and this is the first Zoom you've ever watched about it, and you're like, this is interesting. Email me. I'm going to be putting together a survey to find out what designers really want. You know, I don't want to make assumptions. Those of us here, I think, are already pretty well qualified to be doing. Yeah, I mean, I think those of us here kind of like we've already rallied, we've done the work, but many designers I think would like to do better, but they just don't know where to start. So the survey will kind of ask like, what would you like to know? What's your knowledge base? Just easy peasy. Hoping to have that done within a month. And then the plan is to launch sort of I'll just call it an educational platform because I don't quite know. I haven't figured out how to do it all just yet, but it's essentially going to be a way that we can collaborate as designers who want to be more sustainable. And then with that would come access to my list, but I think I'll also be sharing with Tracy and Heather what's on my list. We'll figure that out later.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. So, and Megan, you're also, did you sign up for your lead AP course?
I am, yes. Oh, I've already read chapter 1. So I can't
Awesome.
be an AP yet. So first step is Green Associate. In order to become an accredited professional, you've got to work underneath another accredited professional, which makes it a little challenging. So for right now, the goal is to become a lead Green Associate. Should have that done whenever, within the next 6 months, hopefully. I had a huge deadline yesterday. We met the deadline and now my brain is
Good.
like, whoo.
Very good.
Yeah, big affordable housing project we closed yesterday. So anyway, I'm putting my extra time into studying for that exam. So I should have that before all of this launches.
Okay.
But the idea right now is just to kind of start a list of designers who like want to learn and maybe start a monthly newsletter for them, just sharing a little bit of info here, a little bit of info there. And then hopefully, probably this time next year, be launching something that designers can be a part of that will teach them without having to study for the lead exam.
Very cool. Wish you the very best in that because I know it's no small undertaking. With the Designers Collaborative, we have members coming and going all the time. So as new members come on board, they'll be initially getting exposed to whatever we create together here in our sustainable green team. And so down the road, I don't keep people's acronyms. Like I believe that there are other green leaders like you, Liz, and I know that we have other lead AP members as well. So our team may grow, and we look for input from everywhere. The more input we get, the better able we will be able together to address our members' needs. You know, what questions to ask, where to look for, what does that mean, you know? So we're doing really good on time. I do have a brief presentation to share. It's kind of like putting all of our words into visuals with words. So unless, and Deanna, I don't know, did you want to add anything or type while we're in there? I'm going to go into the presentation then, unless you guys have anything otherwise that you wanted to share. No? Okay. So bear with me because I'm not the pro like Heather is. So let me see my
We got a new message.
screen.
Oh, she said she's good.
Oh, she's good? Okay.
She's good.
Okay, so share this screen. So our sustainable green team, I love our name. Okay, now how can I advance? How do I advance?
Space.
Page down. Oh, there we go. Okay. So really big picture. Stepping way back, like from Mars and looking at what's going on here, entire planet. And these are some questions that came from Megan as well. Where do the materials to make this or these products come from? Were the materials used to make this product taken from the earth? Most are. Did extracting the materials harm anything along the way? Are the materials a regenerative resource? Or do we have a finite amount on earth, like gold and diamonds? Were the materials used to make this product from recycled materials? Or were the materials used to make this product repurposed, taken from an existing and made into something else? In production and manufacturing, let's move out right here. Okay, let's do this. What resources does the manufacturing plant use to create these products? What is its carbon footprint? How was the manufacturing plant itself built? How does producing these products affect the health of the people creating the product and using the product, like the end user? Transportation. How far did the raw materials travel to get to the production, manufacturing, or assembly site? How far does the final product have to travel to get from the manufacturing plant to you? How far will it have to go when you're ready to get rid of it? End of useful life. I have so many comments. In-home use. Does installing this product require toxic adhesives or additional finishes? Like hardwood flooring, things like that. Does the installation of the product affect the health of the installers in any way? That relates to off-gassing, etc. During installation. What resources are required to care for this product? Upkeep, cleaning, etc., and so on. How long does the product last? And then end of life. What do you do with this product when you're finished with it? Can the product be refurbished or repurposed instead of thrown in a landfill to decompose? That's most common. Does this product emit any harmful chemicals while decomposing?
We should
right.
define decomposing.
Yes, we will get there.
Love it.
So I love to sketch and draw.
Oh, this is great.
You like this?
Yeah.
How to Avoid a Climate Disaster was written by Bill Gates, probably within the last 5 years. I reference Bill Gates and his book here because Bill Gates has a lot of money and has a lot more expertise available to him than I do. So I bought this book, read through the whole thing, and consolidated his book down into where we are right now, today. Today, and this is our entire planet, there are 51 billion tons of greenhouse gas. That's our annual carbon dioxide emissions that contribute to greenhouse gas. Then, as we look at, whenever we ask these questions, 51 billion is a lot. And so I felt the need to break down those 51 billion tons into where those emissions are generated. And it's all from human activities. 35% of that 51 billion tons of greenhouse gas is emitted when we make things, from cars to houses to furniture, accessories, our phones. 35% comes from making things. 27%, our second biggest greenhouse gas generator, is plugging in,
Hmm.
making electricity. I think we can do better there. And I know these have probably changed a little bit. 19% comes from growing things. Trees, grass, things that are grown, anything that's grown. 16% is from getting around, getting stuff from point A to point B, whether it be by airplane, boat, truck, car, or train. Last, 7% of these greenhouse gas emissions are generated from heating, cooling, and refrigeration. We call that HVAC. And that's used in the home and in the products that we specified that are used for heating, cooling, and refrigeration.
Hmm.
So I recommend this book, How to Avoid a Climate Disaster, if you want to read more. It's brilliant. It's like $10 on a Kindle. You can check that out. And we're going to save this presentation and the video later, so everybody. So this is another screenshot that I got from ASID. All right, how can I get rid of this? All right, there we go. The impact of green design, part 1. And what they did was, I'm not going to go into this in depth, but they looked at nearly every aspect of what goes into a home and tried to make it as green as possible. So there is a whole wealth of information just in this one slide. And this is just part 1. Part 2, I say part 2, there we go. Part 2 is product specific. Now, I know we talked about a lot of these products, and some of these products we already have access to. And we're going to be accessing more of this kind of information with a variety of vendors down the road. But again, this impact of green design part 2 is product specific. So lots of room for growth and education in here in this realm as well.
Were those were both from ASID?
Yes, ma'am.
Interesting.
Both from ASID, impact of green design. Say within the last 5 years.
Hmm.
Okay, and this is important. Examples of biodegradable materials. I'll say it. Number 1 is poop. That's the number 1. And ironically, you're never going to believe this. Silk is poop from the silk bug. Yep.
It is.
It is. How about that, huh? Silk is from poop, or from silk bugs. Poop from silk bugs. Anyway. So examples of biodegradability of litter. This is one of my most favorite sections. How long it takes for some commonly used products to biodegrade. And you see down at the bottom, it says plastic bottles. Now, I don't know how they figured this stuff out, probably science and math, which is not my realm, but it takes forever for a plastic bottle to biodegrade. Glass bottles, 1,000,000 years. So plastic bottles take longer than that again, but it's just a gauge to figure out where things might fall, like nylon fabric. We've all specified nylon fabric, right? And there are some fibers that are made from glass, like oh, Megan, what
I know what you're thinking about.
the insulation, but
Well,
that's
not
made
fabric. I know what you're thinking about.
yeah, you know what I'm thinking.
I know.
The fiber, it has been outlawed since. I don't know if they fiberglass, thank you.
What?
So fiberglass is made from glass. There you go. Yeah. So,
It
and
hurts.
leather, right? So if we're
Yeah.
looking at leather, we know that leather shoes, so anything specifying leather, it's going to take between 25 to 40 years to completely biodegrade. Believe it or not, most fabrics are a blend. So they might be a blend of wool along with cotton, so and nylon or polypropylene,
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
and I
so
think
it's
on to
thick.
this, what's
Mhm.
important to note too, like glass bottle decomposing. It's also leaching chemicals into the environment as it decomposes,
Yes,
right? So it goes away, but it's just transferring into something else. So that's another,
Yes.
I think, like step to this. And then even further, if you want to, we can start a book list. Let My People Go Surfing by Yvon Chouinard, the founder of Patagonia, who just donated his business to the planet. People.
Oh my God.
He literally put like the climate in the trust, basically. But I learned reading his book that polyester is like infinitely recyclable.
Isn't that amazing?
So, maybe don't look at poly and go, oh, anymore. Maybe
Right.
those polyester draperies can be returned to a recycling facility and made into a jacket and then made back into draperies. And then, so,
Oh my God, that's what I did.
you know what I'm
So
saying?
I
Like a
had,
circular-
this is, I have to share a personal story. So this vendor had, fabric vendor had, and they're still around, so I won't mention their name, but they had huge, like 1 yard, 56 wide, 1 yard fabric samples. Well, what do they do when they discontinue that fabric and all the colorways that they make, right?
Mhm.
So I absolutely love the fabric. I have yet to make it into, I want to make it into either a shawl or a suit jacket or something like that. Yes, so there are lots of other ways to take what we consider no longer useful, let's say as a sofa, but with 22 yards of fabric on there, oh man, you got lots of opportunity to make new stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that one. Oh my goodness. So this is a 5-minute video by Demo that I felt was very important to share. It's just 5 minutes. I hope you guys can stay and
Demo
watch.
is the organization.
Yes, ma'am.
Cool. I'm taking notes.
So
girl.
before I start this, I want to make sure, can you guys see my video?
I can see it as a still,
Okay.
not playing anything.
All right, let's go to screen share, pause, because it's very important. I want you guys to see this on Google. Okay. Now, can you see it? It's got D's
Yeah.
on. Okay, ready? Just
Yeah.
5 minutes on.
I don't hear sound. I don't know if we're supposed to hear sound. Do you
Can you not hear sound?
hear sound? I don't know if that's intentional. I didn't know you could do a video on Zoom.
I'm hoping we can. Let me
All the
just,
things we learned.
yes, right? Hold on 1 second. Nope. Hold on. So do you see it says playing in picture in picture? All right, so let's try that.
That sound.
Nope, not working.
No, but I'm gonna just take down this hyperlink so I can watch it. Vimeo.com/ oh,
Yep. Hold on.
okay.
So, oh, hey, you
What
said
about
it was,
the little
it's Vimeo. Oh, I'm gonna put it in the chat.
512. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Put it in the chat
And I
here.
think this in it and of itself is a 6-episode master. I mean, it's just I found and if you're a designer in Colorado, check out Perks Deconstruction. she will do your demo and they will disassemble your project, and they have a warehouse and they'll resell everything they can. So cool topic here.
Very, very cool. So I'm hoping we're in Google here. I am hoping that this works. $36 tons of material in this renovation in New York City.
Wow.
It's a lot. But I see how they've already separated their waste.
They made it as an art museum.
Oh,
And
okay.
they afterward, they took their, instead of throwing their old, quote unquote, old materials,
Sure.
they set them in place. Oh, look how beautiful it is.
He's the contractor, I'm assuming?
I think he's the architect.
Yeah. Huh, cool. There's a guy here out of Boulder, actually, another member of this group, Don, introduced me to his business. It's called Cottonwood Construction.
Uh-huh.
He's like, everyone looks to him in Colorado, in terms of when it comes to like demoing a project. In Boulder, you're required to deconstruct and recycle, but essentially
Is
like,
that right?
yeah, different counties have different things, but he talks at one of his talks, he talked about how they recycle the metal from that pile of metal. They recycle it and get cash back, and that they have a weekly happy hour for the whole team with the money they make
Wow.
back on their metal. So, I mean, it's a cool, to follow him on Instagram. They do a lot of really good social media marketing about how they run their business. There's just not so many people doing it. It's like, you've got to find someone to follow and like learn, and then
Right? And I think that the construction methods are being updated as well. So how we used to build 50, 60 years ago is different nowadays.
yeah. They just put a video out today about how, like, just because you have a really high insulation rating doesn't make it green construction. Yeah, it's efficient, but it's still not sustainable. And he was showcasing a product that's like it's like a paper fiber insulation, like all recycled paper, like really dense. So it's like, even inside the walls, that stuff needs to be up to par if you really want to make it count. This is cool.
It is really cool.
Well, I'll watch this.
Isn't it amazing? And they made it into an art museum for like a day, put all this material into this just to share and visually see how much goes into a gut renovation. It's like craziness.
And this is a great, like, this is where your conversation can start with your client. I mean, it doesn't have to be like so scary and like big. I think you can say something like, how do you want to responsibly get what you have in here out the door once, in that first meeting? Like, what do you plan to do with all of your things? Like, it's not just like we're gonna get a dumpster and we're gonna throw it all in.
Let me just copy this. And I'm going to put it in our chat box.
Very cool. Thank you.
So it's called demo, and there's the link. Okay. So back to, we did demo, right? Oh, come back here. Am I sharing my screen? Oh, sorry. Share my screen. So that's where we were. All right. So that was demo. Oh, and that was the end.
That was it. That was the finale.
Yes, that was the finale. It was just so stellar the way that they put it together and showed and consolidated all the materials that they were going to reuse in that same space to make it that beautiful space that they have. I just thought that was the bomb. Oh, it was just fabulous and brilliant. So, oh my gosh, you guys, I have goosebumps. We have accomplished so much today. I know it may not seem like it, but we really have. And our next thing that we want to do is set our next meeting date.
Sure.
So I am thinking, just conceptually, and we can always change this because we're the bosses, you know? But I'm thinking that we'll do a meeting like this once a quarter,
Okay.
right? So we're already into this like
Amazing.
October, November, December, January mode. So
Mhm.
I'm thinking the earliest time that we would do a next meeting is probably February.
Okay.
February.
So far
All
out,
right.
I feel like it's wide open.
All right, so let's do our next meeting for February
And then between now and
2023.
then, I'll definitely have done my survey and probably have some results to share too. So
Awesome. So any days that are not good,
Mondays.
no Mondays,
Please,
Liz?
no Mondays.
It's all good for me.
Tuesdays
Okay,
are like the best. Like Wednesday and Thursday, I typically am doing my like out of the office days.
Tuesday and
But
Thursday?
I'm mountain time, so like this is earlier for me, like this, this time slot's fine because I wouldn't see a client at this point anyway, so.
All right,
if
so
it's-
I don't know what the date works out to, but I'm gonna do the first Wednesday in February, also at 11:30.
The first,
I don't-
The
First
first
Wednesday
is the
in
first.
is the first? Oh,
Mhm.
there you go.
yeah,
All
there you
right,
go,
so February 1st, Wednesday
block it out, just. and
at
if-
11:30. So once this recording is uploaded and saved, I'll be sending it out to all of our teammates. And no one is mad at anyone for not showing up. This is bring it when you can.
Yeah.
Nobody's mad. We will all have things to contribute later on. And that's it, ladies.
Thank you,
Thank
Tracy.
you so much, you guys. I really
to meet
appreciate
you
each
guys.
of you. All right, we'll talk again soon. Please reach out to admin at the Designers Collaborative if there's anything that you want to share, anything that came to mind after the meeting or whatnot.
Cool.
Thank you so much. Sorry, I couldn't.
Thank
Oh,
you.
you're gonna look fabulous.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Liz.